marriages work because there's constantly this shuffling. Mm-hmm. It's the tweaking. It's the, okay, if that's not quite as efficient as it can be, let's go ahead and do this or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And it's not, and like, you know, it's not just around with your kids. It's also in your relationship, being
connection,
able to, like I said, and that's where I, you know, wanted, like, learning, you know, the word like head in, I guess, I know the Hebrew, one of those, one like
Hebrew word.
No, but it's, I think it is. I'm not gonna say it is, but the definition actually, head equals initiator. So like that, I don't quote me because I don't know which one it is, but I just remember hearing that.
As long as you don't try to say it, I think we're fine.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So, but you know, that's, you know, that's kind of what you made me think of. What you was talking is just like you said a job. So when you're looking at a job, there's always the role and then there's a responsibility. Mm-hmm. So you know, this is what your title is going to be. But then these are the responsibilities that you have to fulfill. Mm-hmm. So I was just, like, when you said it, that kind of clicked in my head.
That is, because, woo. And then, because y'all know how y'all get on those jobs and they're like, oh, you're just going to be doing this. And then you end up doing like 30 other things that are not nowhere on that description. And those change. Because it changes. Yeah. The role evolves.
Yeah.
So that was good, babe. High five. I like that.
This is the B-side, 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 the marriage. This is the B-side, 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 the marriage.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the B-Side of Marriage podcast. I'm your host, Rashonda, and this is my husband and co-host,
Jason.
And here at the B-Side, we talk about everything related to marriage. The good, the bad, the real, the A, and the B-Side. So if you're watching us on YouTube, please be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, all the things. And then if you're listening on any of the audio platforms, please be sure to do the same.
As well, follow us on Facebook at The B-Side of Marriage and on Instagram at B-Side of Marriage. Why do I always have to think about it?
I don't know, because it's like it's like a whole thing.
Every time I'm like, I stutter.
Yeah.
So we back for another one, y'all.
Yes, we are.
What's our first?
Our first. I was like, I thought you were gonna do it.
Oh no, I was
like, okay.
We keep it how we keep it, because you know I'm a fumbler. So.
Okay. Well, we like to start off with our first segment where we share either an A or B side moment from our week.
I'll say my A side will be just took the kids to soccer camp this week, so and just to seeing the growth, and this is kind of like the first time the two youngest ones were separated, so you got to see, you know, each of them thrive in certain areas. So, and then even the oldest too, you know, it took a couple of days for him to more get his confidence, because you know a lot of kids they've been there for years. So he had to get his confidence. You know, I had to have just a couple conversations with him, and like I said, today, you know, past 2 days, he's been on it. So, what about you?
That's good. Well, it ended today, so I hope they enjoyed it. This is a wrap. No. For me, definitely a B-side. School is back in session for me, and I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal.
It's a doozy.
But it has been a week. And this is definitely, I should probably go into what we're talking about today, so I don't want to give too much. But I would say, although it's a B side of marriage, like because the juggling of camps and wanting to have some summer activities for the kids, as well as while I'm in school, we're both working, like that, no one really talks about. Yeah. It's a juggle and a struggle. Yeah. So anyways, but so that's like the B side. The B side is on my feelings about it. I don't like feeling this way, but I guess the A side is that, you know, I got a partner who is really like holding it down. So
Okay.
So yeah, so it was a B-side, but it's really an A.
Okay.
You didn't know I was gonna say that, huh?
I didn't know you was gonna go there, so it's like, okay, cool. Again, that's words of affirmation, which I enjoy. I
Yes.
take those, so
Yes.
didn't expect that.
No.
But okay, our second segment is the P2P Share, where we share something that we're reading, watching, or listening to. So,
Y'all,
if you ain't got nothing, I'll go ahead.
I don't have anything. Also, too, I don't have anything that I don't think anybody else would want to read, watch, or listen to. So,
okay.
I mean, I will say, listening to, I'm still listening to Ty Tribbett's new, or his latest release, where he did a live recording. Like, the live recording of all his songs is just like amazing. So that always is good. Linnell Grant, she's also on my little study playlist. So yeah.
So you had something.
I did have something. I can't
Look at that.
but I can't remember Nell's. What is the title of it? I know the song. Is it it ain't talk? Is it titled "I Ain't Gonna Hold You"? Lord Jesus. We might have to edit that part out because I don't want it to be like, girl, what kind of shout out was that?
I ain't gonna hold you.
That is the name of the album.
Yeah.
Okay, look at that.
I ain't gonna hold you.
All right, I ain't gonna hold you. I was like, Lord. I just know by the songs, and I'm like, but what is the name of the project? But anyways, that's on all platforms, so you can go catch that for sure.
Oh man. Okay. So for me, I guess this show called Swagger on Apple TV. It's actually a good show. It just it's based, and I won't give you the whole story, but it's based off of like a basketball phenom, a kid, and it starts off when he was 14, and then next season now he's 18 in his last year of high school. So it's kind of just the progression that you see, and then how he's having to fight, face certain battles. So it's kind of, and it's not just battles on the basketball court, it's battles in life.
Okay.
Of mistakes that he's done in the past. So it's like, I guess for me, I just like to see that it's not just, that they're showing that you can do something in the past and it can come back to get you later on. So that's
Okay.
so
I don't watch the show, so I keep it's on my to-do list. But then I realized as you were talking, what have I been doing?
School.
Yes, but also too in documentaries.
Okay.
I was like, oh no, people don't want to
hear about that.
I mean, although I do have a couple of good recommendations. Now I was like, what do I do? And that's so funny because that's like, that's my chill time.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So, can't with you sometime.
I love a good documentary
You do?
or a docuseries.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that was the other one that was good though.
Okay, well,
The Bobby Brown one, that was good.
But I feel like that was old.
I don't care. I never watched it. That was the first time.
Well, and then so anyways, we're going off on a tangent because
Sorry about that. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So what are we talking about today? Sorry.
So
this is his episode, so I forgot I had to leave it.
So anyway, so she kind of alluded to it in her
in the first segment.
In the first segment when she's talking about her B-side / A-side. So we're gonna talk about roles in marriage. And I was kind of been throwing it back and forth trying to think about will we do an episode just about husbands and wives, or should we just kind of do a general and then kind of come back and do those later?
Let's do general because I'm
prepared. I get that.
But also too, I feel like that. I don't know. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, let's just do general.
Okay, so
let's just do general and see where it goes. And
okay.
Yeah.
So all right. So I wanted to first kind of start off is as we've said in our episodes that we've done, we came from different households growing up.
Yes. Because if not, that would be incest.
Meaning, her mom and dad lived in the same household with her. My mom lived with me. I lived with my mom, but my mom and dad were co-parenting together.
Mm-hmm.
They were separated, but they was co-parenting. So I didn't technically live in a house with a two-parent household.
Mm-hmm.
I had one. So, one of the questions that I was thinking about is, what was your view of marriage? And not so much view of marriage, but the roles in marriage that you saw growing up. Like, did you see any, or was it when we got married, that's when it kind of clicked about? So just, yeah.
So I was raised in a 2-parent household. I saw the roles, which is why I said, I don't think I'm getting married.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't think marriage is for me. Because also, too, you have to keep in mind, I was raised in I grew up Baptist, like Southern Baptist, and then we went to non-denominational.
Okay.
But it was still like more of a Pentecostal type environment. All that to say, submission was really like beat over the head for women, as far as even discussions of gender and sexuality. It wasn't a lot of that.
Okay.
It was all like very, I felt as though it was very negative.
Okay.
It wasn't like female affirming. So that kind of also influenced how I saw what the role of a wife would be. And then for my mom, I just was like, yeah, but I don't think that's me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So.
Because, for me, it was more, like I said, I didn't really understand, I'll be honest with you. I didn't understand, like, the roles in marriage too much. I just knew when having kids, those type of roles that you feel, because that's what I saw. Because, again, my mom and dad separated when I was 2. So, for me, the roles that I kind of saw were more of, and I'll be frank, I saw the husbands can do what they want, and the wives is always going to be there. That's kind of my feeling behind it.
Right, and I saw the wife is domesticated, take care of home, take care of kids.
Yeah. So that's kind of, there were healthy marriages, like with my friends and their parents, that I saw, but I wasn't around it like 24/7. So I didn't get to, I don't think I got to like glean those different things from them. I did see like like when I would stay over or hang out over there, just the interactions, how husband and wives interact, and different ways that husbands and wives interacted. They wasn't all the same, but that's, so for me, it was, like I said, that's kind of how I looked at it. So, and then just, worldly views is kind of the same thing for me. It's like, I saw a lot of what marriage was, how the world portrayed it.
Okay.
Not how, the Bible and God says for how marriage is supposed to go. So like,
Okay.
that's for me. So that kind of goes into my next question is like, for you, when did it click? When did it click that is like, you know what, this is wrong. This is all wrong what I thought it was versus how it, how God designed it.
When did it click?
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly, I don't. For how God designed it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm
not saying when I say click, like when did the light bulb go off? Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Okay.
Because I went into when I said, okay, I can do marriage. It's not as bad as I think it's gonna be. I was just like, what is going to be my role in this, in like our marriage, right? I wasn't really looking like, okay, well, what? I was like, I know what I don't want. So how am I going to make it work for me, basically? And so when did I find out how God designed it? I would say that was years into it though.
Okay.
And that's when I started my own like spiritual journey.
Okay.
To finding out what is the role. So,
okay.
And I feel like I'm still on that.
Yeah, no, okay. So for me, when I say the light bulb, like for me, it was was it Genesis 2:24, 25, when it says husband, man leaves his mother and father and, becomes one with his wife. For me, that was kind of like my first light bulb because I never looked at it or thought of it in that sense that, I must, for me to be able to grow with my wife, I need to leave some things away, leave some things because now I'm starting new, and that was something that, again, I didn't really, that was not something that I learned,
Yeah,
So,
and I guess maybe that's why, because we came from two different backgrounds. Like I grew up in the church, so I knew all about that. So that's why I would say it took years for me to understand it, because it took me going into the reading the scripture and getting an understanding for myself, not just what was kind of taught to me or told to me to understand that, because I knew about that.
Yeah.
So that part I didn't have any problem with. For me, like I said, it was really like the submission part, understanding what that meant.
Okay.
Because I was a very outspoken person, and so for me, I felt like the submission part or being submissive was going to be like my downfall.
Okay.
So that's why I had minimized the role of a wife to only submission.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of how it was taught to me. Taught to me. So when I was actually going into the scriptures for myself to get an understanding, when I started to really realize the role of how God designed the role, honestly, not even just of the wife and the husband, but just of marriage altogether.
Yeah. So then you touched on submission. So let's kind of go there first. Let's kind of talk first about that first part that you thought before you got married, the submission, what you thought submission was, and then let's go to when you actually learned for it yourself.
Well, I don't think we should spend a lot of time on that because we did a whole podcast episode about submission.
That's true, but I'm just...
Y'all need to go ahead for the detail. Okay. Y'all need to go check that episode out. Okay. Maybe we'll link it. We probably forget. But if we don't, if we do, check it out in the notes. But so for me, the way submission was taught is basically wives are to submit to their husbands, but basically be under their husbands.
Okay.
And like how I interpreted that was that the wife does not have a say.
Okay. It's
just whatever the husband says goes, and my job as a wife is just to make sure that I'm making sure that he's good.
Okay.
So it's very, I feel like, one-sided, and no, like I would have to basically reduce myself.
Okay.
If I was to be a godly wife.
Okay.
To you, yeah.
Okay.
So that's how I initially interpreted it.
Okay.
But now, as I have studied and I understand what it means to be submissive, it is not about being dominated.
Okay.
This is a partnership. Submission is I submit to you, you submit to me. So we're holding each other accountable for the things that, basically for our vows, what we said that we were going to, when we got married, like the vows that we said to each other. And it's not like I don't have a say. It's not like I'm just here to be here. Like to be extra hands or whatever to, fulfill whatever your plans or your desires are. So because I know it's a partnership, it's fine. And just, yeah.
Okay.
You can say.
Okay. No, because that's something that even today that I'm, that I'm still learning more. Still learning more
Oh, yeah.
because, it's like even like so. One of the things that I read was submission is a choice. So just the same way that we wake up each morning, get dressed, and go work for somebody else, or go to work. Period. I'll say it like that. We have to make that same choice to our spouse every day we wake up. We're gonna make that choice that we're gonna put their desires before our desires. It's their desires, opinions, or even just my plans.
Yes.
Me not just saying, okay, you know what, I'll leave from work and don't come back. Those are the things that, for me, I can't, what is the word? That I have to always pull you and always have to bring it to you. Like you said, we both submit to each other as well as we submit to God.
Well, right. Well, but that's what I say. It's more like a hierarchy of how...
An order.
Of the order, yes.
Yeah, an order.
Because just like I submit to you, you submit to God. So it's not like everybody just out here doing whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it.
Yeah,
It's like there's accountability.
Yeah.
Throughout for the order. So
yeah, and even kind of go with what you just said about orders. Like one of the things that when we got married, I think it was probably like a year into it. What clicked in my head about order is just like if you think about the military, when you go into the military, you come in as a specific rank, and there's always somebody that's over you to cover you.
Yep.
So they have a sergeant, and then they have, I don't know the ranks because I wasn't in the military, but you have different ranks, and there's always somebody above you, and there's always somebody above that person. So all those people are covering everybody down. So and that's kind of like what you said, the same thing in marriage. Like we have an order, and if you're not following that order, that covering that you have, you're losing that covering that you need. So if I'm not continuing to, go to God, not for the things that I want, but just, going to God, spending time with Him. What I'm doing is I'm taking myself out of the covering if I'm not doing that, and in turn, what that is also taking the covering off everybody else, because I cover it, and that's how it's, the order's supposed to be.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and it's I don't want to say anymore.
Oh.
Check out the other episode.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I'm repeating stuff that I said in the other episode.
Oh, okay, okay. So then, as we, kind of like, we kind of talked about those. So, how do you feel like? Do you think roles change, or is just supposed to be the same all the time?
And I was thinking about this. I feel as though a role doesn't change. I feel like your responsibilities and tasks are the ones that actually change. Because my role as a wife is always going to be a wife.
Okay.
Right? Now, because, I feel like people get confused. Like, what is your role within the marriage versus what is your responsibility, or what are you good at in the marriage? Okay. Does that make sense? Let me see if I can simplify.
No, again, because I guess when I'm thinking about roles, it's kind of like, I guess more of like the roles that God says we need to have in a marriage. I'm not, but go ahead.
Okay, so I guess what are those?
Huh?
What are those?
Oh, I gotta list all these now?
Well, I mean, some of them, like, because you listed, and I'm going to use that to explain my point.
Oh, okay. So yeah, because I didn't write all those down.
Well, I'm not all of them, just something, whatever.
So like for the husband, like we're supposed to be, initiator, meaning like when I say initiator, we're the head. We're the head of the family, and we're supposed to be the one who's initiating things. And that's initiating even dialogue, initiating, making sure that, we put, like I said earlier, putting your desires, your plans and things like before our own. Being a protector, a priest, and other things, honestly, making space for you, not filling all our time with our wants, but making space for our spouse.
Okay, you stop there. Okay. So just off of those things, no matter those are roles for a husband.
Gotcha.
I shouldn't be taking on those roles.
That's okay.
As the wife.
Okay, that's correct.
Now, oftentimes I think when people think about roles within marriage, they think, oh, who needs to be the primary breadwinner? Okay. Who needs to do the cooking? Who needs to do the cleaning?
Those are responsibilities.
No, and I think that's what creates confusion. Okay. Because people are placing responsibilities as roles, and so that's why there's that's why there's the confusion. Okay. So no matter where we are in whatever stage we are in our marriage or in our lives, you will always have those roles because that's the role of a husband. Gotcha. And my role as a wife will always remain the same. But who does the cooking and cleaning, that will change. Gotcha. Okay. Because depending on what season we're in will determine who's doing what. Gotcha. Okay. So that's what I want to say. Okay.
Okay. No, that's what that makes sense. That makes sense. It's like, so I guess then the question I ask is if we're saying responsibility, how has responsibility changed? Because you said it in the beginning. So
yes. Well, now as I said, responsibilities, I feel like they do change. Okay. It depends on what works best for your marriage at that particular time. Okay. So previously, I was the one who did most of the cooking and kind of like managing the kids' schedules, basically chauffeuring them around. Like all of that was more on me because of your job and the hours. Yeah. So that's why that worked out like that. But now that's flipped because of my schedule. But also too, the reason why the reason why we're able to swap responsibilities is because we're still focused. We still have the same mission, the same goal. Correct. So because we both understand that is we're both doing what needs to be done in order for us to keep making progress toward that goal.
You're basically
that
still staying in vision. Staying in the same.
So we're still in alignment, like we're still in order. Yeah. It's just those responsibilities have changed. Gotcha. Okay. No, that's so. No, that's good. That's a good way to say it. So, I ain't got nothing to go with that because you kind of said everything. Well, because that's just kind of how it is, and I think what happens is, like I said, people get confused around. I shouldn't say people. Society gets confused around a role versus a responsibility because that's why I think people get in their feelings because they're trying to do things that they're not supposed to be doing. So even let's go back to the whole initiate. Most times, or I shouldn't say most times, a lot of times, males, if they hear, or husbands, if they hear that, they think, oh, I need to initiate sex. Gotcha. And because the wife feels like, oh, I have to submit, is like, oh, so every time he initiates, that means I gotta have sex. So just because you initiate doesn't mean that I have to say yes. Correct. Okay. But people have used, we've heard from people, our clients that say, oh, well, if that's my role as an initiator, then her role is that she has to say yes. That's okay. Yeah, no, it's what? No, because initiating doesn't mean that they have to do whatever you say. That's not right. And submission is not saying yes. So that's no matter what's going on with you. So, like for instance, I can come up with saying like a idea like, okay, for instance, for our anniversary, I want to go do this. I'm initiating a conversation with you, and you be like, no, like I said, like let's do our anniversary let's go to basketball, Golden State for a basketball game.
You can be like, for our anniversary? Why? No. I'm initiating the conversation I'm initiating the idea of what we can do to spend time together for our anniversary, but you don't have to say yes.
Right.
So, but go ahead.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, so it becomes a responsibility for the wife because, like, because he initiates, now it's my responsibility to say yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like, this is a thing that I have to do. And that's not how that should be interpreted. Like, your job as a husband is to initiate intimacy, initiate connection, and that does not mean that I can't do it as well. Correct. But it's it's like one of your roles is that you need to make sure that connection is happening, that intimacy is happening. Like, as a leader of the household, you need to make sure that it's not just one-sided, that you're addressing any concerns that I may have, that the kids may have, if you have kids in your family. Just like your job is to make sure that that's flowing correctly.
Yeah. And and again, for me,
I don't know if I really made my point, but
I was like,
no,
I kind of what you said. It makes sense because even just when I change jobs, like even just me being home and being present and how, I guess for the kids it was different to see dad home too, and then how I did certain things was different, and not to say what you did was wrong. I'm not saying that. It was just I wasn't here.
It's just different.
Yeah, I wasn't here, so now it's it's different. Like I say it as a joke, like I got the kids with their school stomachs in the summer.
Yes, he does.
I got them. They try, but they don't know. I almost put a lock on the door, but we ain't gonna go in there. But anyway.
Yes. But that's also too something that I've had to let go. Because I was used to doing it and doing it my way. Yeah. So now it's like, like you can still get the job done. Yeah. Sorry, I thought something happened with the with the recording. Okay. So that's why I was like, sorry. Yeah. But like you're capable of doing it. You just do it your way. Yeah. And I have to be okay with that. I don't have to be okay. I should be okay with that because you're getting the job done. And it's still not
detrimental to anything.
I know it's like it's not changing anything. Yeah. If they need to get, they need to eat every day, you're making sure they're eating. They just don't, it's just not according to my style. But it's fine. Yeah. So anyways.
So I guess, now we got to change the title. Because we went from roles to responsibility. So no, it just
don't worry about that.
Yeah, no, it's so. I had a question. I just lost it. I lost the question because I'm trying to think like we always go back to newlyweds, to people who are people who are engaged to be married. Like, what are those? How do we give them tips to be able to come into their marriage understanding that like we said, we each have our specific roles in your marriage, but there are there's going to be different responsibilities that you're going to have, and those responsibilities are going to change. Not to say you have to be okay with it, but you have, like, one of the things that we've talked about before is being able to pivot. Yes. Yeah, you may be used to doing something a certain way all the time, or this is the lane that you guys got into, but being able to pivot and pivot responsibilities, because again, like I said,
so of course I'm gonna say, if you're not married yet, go to premarital counseling. Okay. Because you will be able to have these conversations. Okay. What I'm finding out is especially the younger kids out here in these streets. They don't want to have a conversation. They don't want to talk about things, but they would rather assume based off of actions and stuff. So you have to go to premarital counseling. They're gonna get you to talking about the things that you need to talk about instead of trying to decide, what is our hashtag gonna be, or what are our colors, where we gonna get married, who gonna sit who on the wedding party. Like, y'all need to have some real conversations. You need to get the wedding stuff done, right? But you need to deal with the real stuff, the foundational stuff. Talk about those foundational things. Yeah. So that's going to be one thing. I would say get premarital counseling because you will have different conversations.
Correct.
When you get premarital counseling.
Okay.
All right, so you're already married and you didn't get premarital counseling. That's fine. You get marriage coaching. We offer that. But also, too, you still gotta have the conversations, right? So basically, it all boils down to having the conversation. Okay. So, like we said at the beginning of the episode, we're both coming in from different childhoods, seeing different examples, having different understandings of what we feel like our roles are.
Correct. Yeah.
So I guess before we even have the conversation, understand that your role is different than responsibilities.
Okay.
So when you have the conversation, be like, okay, so let's talk about roles. Mm-hmm. My role as a wife is, I am your helper. Mm-hmm. I miss Bible study, so I don't know all the official roles. But I do know I'm your helper.
Okay.
And the role as wife is a helper. And I am to help us get to, help us progress toward the purpose that God has placed on our marriage.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But in that role as helper, I might not be a good cook, which is a responsibility. Okay. So we need to figure out what, first of all, get an understanding of each other's definition or of roles. Mm-hmm. Make sure we're on the same page there. Because some people don't, and so you might feel like as a role as a wife, all I am is a yes person. That is not your role. Okay, you are a whole full person. God did not create you to be a whole full person and then get married and then you become less than. Let's start there. Yeah. Okay, and also two husbands. God did not create you to then be dominating and demanding as a husband. So you don't get to puff up your chest. Yeah, no, you don't get to do all that when you get married.
We're supposed to have dominion over everything together. Not separate, together.
Of the earth.
We're supposed to rule together over it. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm
yes.
sorry.
Okay. So get those understandings of roles. Then talk about responsibilities. Okay, to run our house, somebody got to manage the money. We need someone to who's gonna we cook, clean, whatever. Then you figure out, okay, I'm not good with finances, or in our scenario, people can think that they're good at something.
We got to go back there.
Well, no, I'm just saying, people can think they're good at something, and that's fine. Just decide who's going to do it. Yeah. But if it don't work, y'all got to have that conversation. Okay, babe, we thought this was going to work like this. It ain't working like that. So that's how you go into the pivot when you're trying to do something and it's not working out.
Correct.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, but have the conversation. So you got to have somebody manage money, cook, clean, do like the hint stuff, like all the little tasks. Yeah, you figure out what you need for your household. Yeah. To operate, and then you say, hey, can you lead this? Can you lead that? Mm-hmm. And you hear what I said. I said lead. That doesn't mean that you have to always make sure that you're the one doing it. Mm-hmm. You got to make sure that you're, you just make sure that it's getting done. I like to say that you are the manager of that section. So you know how you manage teams. So you will be managing cleaning. You know what I'm saying? So what does that mean? For me, I kind of obsess over cleaning. but the way our schedule is working out, I can't do the cleaning that I want to do. So I make sure in the budget, we have a little bit of budget so we can get some help on the cleaning. You know what I'm saying? The yard. My husband, I've said this before many a times, bless his heart. He is a jack of all trades, and he is very talented in a lot of areas. So he thinks that because he's talented and can do the job, that he should do the job. And I said, that's not always the case. You need to, just because you can do it, just because you have the skills and the talents to do something doesn't mean that that's the job that you need to be doing. So learn to outsource things. But you know what? He manages that process. He's like determined to get our yard looking green year round. Okay. He's managing that process.
Yeah.
I don't deal with it, because you know why? That's his responsibility. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. You figure out whatever. So then we figured out, hey, who's gonna do what, whatever. Great. So you're going through life. Things happen. Depending on what kind of job you have, whether you're an entrepreneur or, have a corporate job. Those demands can shift, which can impact your household.
Correct.
So what used to work ain't working anymore. You got to say, okay, babe, well, this is not working anymore because I said I was, going to make sure we eat and all things. I can't cook because I work and I got this and I got that. So we got to figure out something else.
Yeah.
Because it might not be just that other person taking it on. It could be something completely different. But you have the conversation so you can talk about it and you can figure out, well, what are some other options we can, what are our other options, basically. Figure that out. Then you implement it and you try it out. And if it don't work, you just keep trying. That's why we say marriages work, because there's constantly this shuffling. It's the tweaking. It's the, okay, if that's not quite as efficient as it can be, let's go ahead and do this or whatever.
And it's not, it's not just around with your kids. It's also in your relationship, being
connection,
able to, like I said, and that's where I, wanted, like, learning, the word like head in, I guess, the Hebrew, one of those,
Hebrew word.
No, but I think it is. I'm not gonna say it is, but the definition actually, head equals initiator. So like that, I don't quote me because I don't know which one it is, but I just remember hearing that.
As long as you don't try to say it, I think we're fine.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So, but that's that's kind of what you made me think. What you was talking is just like you said a job. So when you're looking at a job, there's always the role and then there's a responsibility. So this is what your title is going to be. But then these are the responsibilities that you have to fulfill. So I was just, like, when you said it, that kind of clicked in my head.
That is, because, woo. And then, cause y'all know how y'all get on those jobs and they're like, oh, you're just going to be doing this. And then you end up doing like 30 other things that are not nowhere on that description. And those change. Because it changes. The role evolves.
Yeah.
So that was good, babe. High five. I like that. So I just think that we get caught up in what other people, and that could be other people, could be your family, it could be society or whatever, of what they feel like your responsibilities as a wife, as a husband should be. And so people get caught up in optics.
Correct.
Like, oh, well, you the wife, so you should be, cooking and cleaning and then taking care of the kids, but also to helping to bring home the bacon.
That's burnout.
What?
That's burnout right there.
Yes.
That's burnout.
And listen, if I am driving myself ragged, trying to uphold all these responsibilities because I am your wife.
When you have time.
Guess what's going to fall off? The thing you need the most, because I'm tired. And then I'm burnt out. Don't even come near me, don't even look at me. Don't look at me for too long. No, I'm tired.
Not for too long? Not even like a couple seconds?
No, I'm tired. I'm tired. So you want me to do all this plus then No, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
While you over here, and then that's also too why people like, I can't believe he coming home and he playing video games, and I done worked all day, and now I'm cooking, and now I gotta clean, and I gotta make sure the kids or whatever. No, you don't. Who said you have to? Mm-hmm. No, that is lopsided.
Yeah.
We are working together for the mission. The mission, the purpose is not for one person to be tired and the other person have that nice balance.
So I'll add into this right now, because one of the things that as husbands we've always got that, or we've always been told that,
yes,
we are the providers.
Mm-hmm.
We are more than just providers.
Mm-hmm.
So just fulfilling, if let's say we have in our role we have, there's eight or nine things. If you're saying you're only doing one out of those 9, you're not fulfilling what your role is.
No.
You're not. So you can't use.
You got to be put on the performance plan. Okay.
Like you can't just be like, yeah, but I'm bringing home. I'm providing for us. We got a house. We got a roof. But what else are you doing? What else are you doing? Are you making that space for your wife, for her to thrive, for her to do her things? Are you taking things off her plate? It's those simple things, and even just having conversation, because I'll say most men don't like to have conversation, have to talk, but that's what our wives like to do. They like to talk. So if we're doing that, they're going to be engaged. That's going to create intimate moments with you guys, because you're opening up. And I'm not just saying just talking rambling, but actually talking about your fears, your dreams, and things like that. What you see for the family. Mm-hmm. Because as you speak those things, like something that was told, like, I guess men have the seed, and the women, they choose. They have the choice. Womb. They have the womb. They choose to let a seed develop. So you can bring something to her, and she can receive it good and like, oh yeah, let's run with that. But if you're not having those conversations, if you're not spending that time, you're going to miss that the growth that God has for you, because you're not taking the time to intimate time to spend with your wife. Mm-hmm. So.
Right, and it's also to the expansion of intimacy. Intimacy starts outside of the bedroom. Mm-hmm. If you're waiting to start intimacy when you get in the bed in the room, it's too late. It's too late for the woman. The woman is like, "What?
Yeah,
I thought we was watching TV, or I thought I was going to bed." Like, it's too late.
Yeah.
You started outside of the room, and I don't mean like right outside the door. Come on, guys, let's not do that. It starts from the actions, the words that you say all day.
Yeah.
All day. It's fine. You can do it. I know. I'm just saying.
So we're going to kind of wrap it up, but yes. I want to kind of, the marriage advance tip that I had for our episode was more the fact that, if you haven't had these conversations with your spouse, like, why don't y'all just sit down, just write. Each of you write what in your marriage. What's your role? Not your responsibility. Let's say like that. But
wait,
really,
which one?
The responsibilities.
Okay.
What your responsibilities are. But on top of that, for everybody to kind of get an understanding of what God says your role is in marriage, yes, as a husband and wife, because that's going to, if you get an understanding of that, you'll be more clear on the purpose of your marriage. Because if you're looking at how the world looks at it, it's not gonna be right, and you're always gonna be bumping heads, because that's not how it was created or why it was created. Marriage was created, so that's
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this for our non-spiritual Christian people.
Gotcha.
Okay. I would take that advanced tip one step further. Okay. Since you don't have a source,
okay,
that means you need to define what your role in your marriage is. Mm-hmm. So define your role, then list your responsibilities, and then have a conversation with your spouse on
how you see it.
On that. Yeah. And y'all need to get an agreement on it. Because at the end of the day, it's still the same. Y'all have to be in agreement and in alignment with your understanding of each other's roles and the responsibilities. Mm-hmm. And don't just take on responsibilities because it has to get done.
Okay. No, that's, because that's how.
Because if you don't like doing it, it's not.
Or if it's, like I said, for me, like, I can do a lot, but sometimes you just need the person that knows how to do it. So, because
But you also need your helper to say, don't do it.
Yes.
Well, no, for real.
No, you're right.
That's how I help.
Yeah.
I'm like, babe. So we read a book about a couple years ago where it has to deal with your zone of genius.
Oh, yeah.
Like it tells you the different things. Just because you're good at something doesn't mean that that's where you should be putting your time in. Mm-hmm. Are you operating your zone of genius or just, I can't remember the other ones, but it's like that's the zone of knowledge or something. I can't remember both the things. But for me, I took away the zone of genius is this is something that only I can do. Like I am my most creative. Mm-hmm. I make the most impact.
Yeah.
In this zone.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's not
cutting
right.
the grass ain't in that zone of genius.
It ain't.
Especially because
I'm not putting no
if your
designs in
genius is, if your skill is like playing with the kids, like doing all the like video games where they think, oh, that is so cool, or putting a puzzle or putting the gadgets together, that's your zone of genius. Because if y'all come to me, it's gonna stay in 1,000 pieces. We gonna get it done. It's gonna take us forever, but it's gonna get done. So that's what I'm just saying.
Oh,
just because you can do it doesn't mean you need to do. You should be doing it, and your helper will allow you to see those things clear.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. I'm laughing because that's.
And this whole. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
The whole reason why I wasn't gonna get married because that whole Stepford Wives kind of thing.
Oh.
Y'all, this is 2023. I know we're going back on a whole lot of things out here in this crazy world that we live in. But one thing we not going back on is that Stepford Wives. I'm not doing that. No, y'all. We gonna eat. It ain't gonna be a home cooked meal every day. But it's gonna be fine. Everybody gonna eat. Everybody gonna be clean. Everybody gonna wear clean clothes.
Clean underwear, all that stuff.
Yes, it's.
So, I can't.
Sorry, I just had to throw that out because I'm just like, I think people get stuck in that. Like, I don't even know, because I feel bad when you say, like in the 1940s, whatever, and then they're going to be saying that about us.
Yeah.
No, but go to the 1980s, they did, whatever. Anyways, I digress. But that worked for them back then.
Yeah.
Do what works for you. Take the focus off what other people think.
Yeah.
Do what works for y'all.
Yeah. That's my marriage advance tip. Sorry. All right. Well,
I'm just like, do what works for y'all. Stop it with all the extras. Them people is not paying y'all bills. Yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry.
It's all, hey, it's all good. It's all good.
It's frustrating because we get caught up in all we're getting caught up in all the wrong stuff.
All the wrong things.
So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, well. Like, share this episode.
Why did it take us so long to end our show?
Because things just be coming up. We're going to keep talking. So,
okay, all right.
But like, share, share with somebody else.
Yes.
And as well, leave some comments of, what your thoughts about, roles versus responsibilities. Mm-hmm. And do we have anything else?
Nope, I think that's it.
Okay.
Until next week.
Oh, until next week, you sure right?
So remember, because the real work begins at I do. Please. Peace.